Alright. Hello. Alright. So, welcome back to another stream. I think my mic's working. There's nobody here to tell me. So, we are going to be reacting again. It's kind of what I do on streams now. I just dedicate streams to reacting, probably what I'll do. So, starting off with 6 subs, 0 likes. Probably gonna be the same. So yeah. So we're going to be reacting to an hour of video game Easter eggs. So strap in. This is going to be a long one. It's an hour, 4 minutes, 32 seconds, and I'm gonna get a snack. So I will be right back, and I have a new screen to show you for whenever I get a snack or something. Alright, I'm back. I got pistachios. Because I like them. Why is my mic... I'm keeping it at this volume, because this is what I did last time. It might have been a bit quiet back there. But, hour of video game Easter eggs. I'm so worried. Last time, I was pretty quiet, right? Didn't talk a bunch. This time, I'm going to be really quiet. Like, this is an hour and 4 minutes. That is insane. So, let's just get into it. Is there something I'm forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Nope. Alright. Let's go.
From a hilarious South Park reference to a shocking Sonic Easter egg, this is 1 hour of our best video game secrets in 2023.
Hey! It's the iconic T5G music.
Battlefield is the king of Easter eggs. Some players found this random book on a rock. Game secrets in 2023. Battlefield is the king of Easter eggs. Some players found this random book on a rock. They knew something was up. They returned with a squad of 4, all holding M1 Garands, and suddenly it was interactive. This gave their guns superpowers with a special animation that is probably one of the coolest reloads I've seen in years.
That is awesome.
I don't know how anyone found this, but if you're wearing a tuxedo in Goat Simulator 3, it's actually your secret invite to a party. You need to go up to the shipping container and buy at it, revealing a sign. No content here. Well, I guess I'll turn back, right? Well, keep going, and you'll arrive at the ultimate goat rave. If you got the munchies, Halo Infinite's forbidden.
That was very good. That was honestly one of my favorite Easter eggs. That's saying something.
Is the perfect Easter egg, which you can't afford to miss. On the ground, these switches can be activated in a certain order, you know, like any good secret. Once you figured out the combination, it'll open a hidden door, revealing the Temple of the Golden Sandwich. And the craziest part is, this thing is a one-hit kill.
That was overpowered. I hate ads. Oh my gosh.
Now, the last place you'd expect to find secrets is an American truck sim. You're not allowed to exit
Not
your
really.
truck, and you're usually just focused on your destination, so all the towns you drive through are mostly background decoration, right? Well, I suggest actually paying attention to your surroundings, because you might drive past an insane secret. Near Colorado Springs, there's an unmarked town with very suspicious-looking trash cans, and anyone who watches South Park can already tell what this is referencing. They even made Cartman a huge dumpster, and I love how they replicated Kenny's hood. It's just an incredible secret that most people would have flown by at 70 miles an hour. If there's one game which always has insane details, it's LEGO Marvel Superheroes. Every character is unique, especially Stan Lee. Not only is he playable, but the developers went even further, giving him the ability to be invincible. That's right, if you run out of health with Stan equipped, he won't crumble into pieces, he just turns into a skeleton and then slowly regenerates back to normal. Speaking of insane attention to detail, Mortal Kombat 1's mansion level is hiding a mind-blowing secret in plain sight. You would never notice this while playing normally, but there's a katana on the display in the background, and die-hard fans, though, recognize this as Kenshi's trusty sword. So, what happens if you play as Kenshi? Well, it's in his hand, and as such, the katana is now missing from the wall. You gotta appreciate the finer things. And I guess someone had a lot of anger to let out, because in Gears of War 4, when you went to her greenhouse, you could shoot every plant pot in the room. And I don't know why you would do this, maybe you hate plants for some reason, but once you do, a hilarious piece of dialogue is revealed.
You know what it's like being a hermit? Fixing a house? There's no Home Depot out here, you
It gets even better though, now you've unlocked a secret item called Dom's Tom. So yeah, these are literally tomato hand grenades.
What? That's
From
pretty
adorable
funny.
weapons to lovable plushies, the Loch Ness Monster appears throughout the Titanfall universe. It mostly got famous because of Apex Legends, but the best appearance is in Titanfall 2's campaign. During Blood and Rust, you need to find 3 bottles scattered around the map. But once you've done it, you can dive headfirst into the red sewer, and you'll instantly be teleported to a Nessie Cult. Modern Warfare
interesting.
3 recently released, but Warzone still has Easter eggs that people are only just finding to this day. Like on the Vondel map, where if you approach the aquarium's fish tank and go AFK here for long enough, the fish will create a secret message for you. Speaking of newer releases, Phantom Liberty completely changed Cyberpunk when it released. It's one of the best DLCs of the past few years, and as such, CD Projekt Red have gone the extra mile here, adding tons of Easter eggs, like in the stadium. Head to the gun store and go around the back to find a special shipment for one Mr. Wick. Let's just say Keanu isn't pleased. You can play some maps hundreds of times and never realize you're right next to a secret, but in Modern Warfare, players didn't miss these tiny mouse traps. Shoot 5 of them and you'll be rewarded with a giant cheese wheel. Pretty cool. You take this to the statue in the park and this happens. That's still not as random as Just
Okay.
Cause 4's mountains. They look like regular cliffs, but parachuting around reveals this red X. Obviously you gotta blow it up, but I don't think anyone expected
Yeah.
a tunnel
I mean, it's a red X. Of course you gotta blow it up. Hey, what else would you do?
this long. You're seriously walking forever, and if that's not weird enough, at the end, you'll find the moon. I mean, why is this in a mountain? Goat Simulator is known for its amazing Easter eggs. I can talk about them all day, but the best one is hiding in
Yeah.
the server
Goat Simulator's been in like every video we've watched, I think. Besides the YouTubers and movies.
room. You can escape the map through this hole in the wall, leading you to the game's servers. And considering you're a goat, there's only one thing to do here, and that's smash everything. With each hit, you'll get tons of errors, breaking the game more and more until eventually... Well, there's a ton of old Spider-Man games, no one appreciates their hidden details. In The Amazing Spider-Man, you have to chase a mutant rat through the sewers. An average day in New York, but Peter makes it even better with this reference.
With your adopted turtle sons?
Speaking of superheroes, Arkham Knight pays homage to its past in the most creative way. In one of the time trials, you can find a bat signal off the road. Break through the wall and park here to unlock an amazing secret. Just make sure you have popcorn, because now you get to watch a full episode of Batman from 1966. I love when games break
Wait,
the
really?
fourth wall, and Dying Light does it better than anyone. As you walk around the map, you'll find notes hidden in containers. They tell the story of a man who lost his girlfriend, and he's trying to find her, searching desperately with each one. He says if they survive the apocalypse, he'll find a ring and make an honest lady out of her. But sadly, things took a turn for the worse. Baby, if you find this, know I died trying to find you. I'll miss you. I left a gift for you at the top of the dam. So climb all the way up here and you'll see one final chest.
Hannah, will you marry me, please?
Yeah, this was a story of a real player who proposed to his girlfriend, with less zombies obviously. So the devs helped him with the proposal, and thankfully she said yes. Now there's a ton of people who played Cyberpunk 2077 and had no idea this was an Easter egg. You can find an arcade machine which is fully playable, and it's called Roach Race. It's a side scroller where you control a horse that glitches around. By now, you can already tell this is Roach from The Witcher 3. There's insane detail in here, from the backgrounds to the remix music. You gotta admire how much love went into this. Let's take this from appreciating things to roasting them. Dead Island 2 only released a few months ago, but its best secret is already timeless. You can find a mansion with multiple studios, awards, and an...
Hold on real quick. I did not, for a moment, think to get water. I know, I'm stupid. This one will be quicker. I need to take a water break, so I will be very, very quick, I promise. Yeah. I got water, and for some reason, I also just got a jumbo push pop that I've been eating for 2 days now. Let's hope I finish it during the stream. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Let's go. 18. Come on.
Apology video? The more you explore this place, the quicker you realize it's a parody of content houses like Team 10 or FaZe Clan. Obviously, they didn't survive the apocalypse, and now you get to fight them. Another great location is in Halo Reach. Usually, you go through New Alexandria and fight enemies at the club, but if you get in the ship and fly to the other buildings, you'll find this green switch. Now, just head back to the club, and not only are the enemies friendly, they're down to party.
Alright.
It's just as wholesome as this secret in Black Ops. When the first game released, people were excited to try Moon. It was a massive zombie map, and everyone thought there would be a space dog for some reason. It went super viral, yet the dog was just a myth. Or so we thought. Years later, with the release of Black Ops 3, we got a new version of Moon. Now, if you gave blood sacrifices to a dog bowl, you can look outside the map and see Space Dog. But over in Serious Sam, there's a hidden area that can only be found under a bridge. Head through the tunnel, and waiting at the end is a bonfire. But now you probably figured out what this is referencing. Dark Souls is known for bonfires like this, and they're usually placed right before a boss battle. So naturally, you keep going down the tunnel, and...
Nice.
One of the greatest jokes has to be in Cyberpunk. Everyone knows how buggy this game was at launch. It was a total disaster, from glitched animations to NPCs running into walls. But the devs embraced the joke. In a secret update, they added a sign for Platform 9 and...
Who did this? We saw this literally yesterday.
3/4. Not only is this a reference to Harry Potter, but they're also just roasting themselves. On the topic of NPCs, Lego Marvel has one that is totally unexpected. There's so many ways to get around the city, but if you choose a character who...
Oh, by the way. I'm gonna say this now, too. Literally no one. Just in case, though. I will not release a video for the next, 6 days.
Who could fly, head to the Statue of Liberty. The closer you get, the more impressive she is, and then you realize she's alive. And one of the most underrated...
I've actually done that before. It's also in Lego Marvel Super Heroes 2. It's in both. And And number 2, it's like Kang. He does it too. And I was so confused. I thought you had to be like at his eye level. Turns out you just have to be AFK.
The secrets out there can be found in Hunt Showdown.
boring.
As you roam through the forest, there's a chance you'll spot this house, and it's hard to tell at first, but this is a 1-to-1 replica of Shrek's
What?
swamp. From the chairs to the bathroom, it is exactly.
When I saw this, I didn't think Shrek. Like,
Now, as you
I'm
roam
just
through
like,
the forest, there's
okay, it's cool, right? Like, I guess it looks a little like
a
it.
chance you'll spot this house.
The
and it's hard
only
to
way I recognized it was because of the toilet. Because let's be honest, most people who've watched Shrek would recognize it from the
tell at
toilet, not the
first,
house.
but this is a 1-to-1 replica of Shrek's swamp. From the chairs to the bathroom, it is exactly the same. And if you're still not convinced, there's a chance Donkey could spawn here.
Pick me! Oh, I know, me!
Now you can play Red Dead Redemption 2 for years and still miss half the game. It is full of secrets, like the horrifying villain in Saint Denis. Around the town there's ominous writing, and Arthur will put them in his notebook. When all 5 pieces get collected, it forms a pentagram, leading you to an alleyway in the dead of night. As you walk through the darkness, a vampire reveals himself.
So,
Oh,
you found me. Nope.
Maybe you prefer
my brother would not like that.
to blow up monsters. Well, Resident Evil 4 has the perfect item, a rocket launcher. You could get this from the merchant, but the only problem is they cost a lot of money, and despite this, it's ridiculously overpowered, and the merchant knows it.
Well now, time to cause some mayhem.
Another character who's brutally honest is Wheatley from Portal 2. After he tries to kill you, most players keep progressing through the level, but he begs you to turn back and stay. For the select few who actually turn around, even Wheatley is confused.
Oh, you came back. I didn't plan for this. Would you just jump into that pit? There. That deadly pit. Oh, wow, good. I didn't think that was gonna work.
Bringing it back to Just Cause 4, I'm starting to think
Nice.
there's more Easter eggs than actual gameplay. It turns out you can land on this construction site, and the stairs will lead to a strange room. Everything looks hand-drawn and people are dancing, just like the music video for Take On Me, and they even added the same woman. It's great attention to detail, but nothing compared to Spider-Man PS4's incredible secret. Early in the game, Peter rips his suit, and this causes him to worry.
Not good. Can't have people taking pictures of my 3 chest hairs.
Now, we all thought this is him being sarcastic or a joke about him being young, but Insomniac aren't ordinary devs. If you zoom into Peter's chest with photo mode, there it is, his 3 chest hairs. Another game with incredible detail is Smash Bros. Ultimate. The roster is stacked, but if you choose certain characters, they'll take damage in water. But Charizard makes sense because he's a fire-type Pokemon, Inklings are known for dying in water, and then we have Sonic. He is infamous for not being able to swim, and it's been a running joke for decades. Now it is extended to Smash Bros. An Easter egg hiding in plain sight is in Borderlands 3. During one mission, you'll walk through a green building. It is full of destroyed pillars, a metal detector, and time is moving slowly. Has all the hints you needed to think, yup, this is totally from The Matrix.
Wait.
Well, yeah, it totally
that
is.
is.
Another
Wait, it
iconic
is.
reference is in The Witcher 3.
Okay, I thought I was about to be like,
Metal
that's a
detector.
long shot. I don't know about that.
Time is moving slowly. Has all the hints you needed
That
to
is
think, yup, this is totally
actually
from The
really cool.
Matrix. Well, yeah, it totally is.
Like, down to the way they're, like, destroyed.
Another iconic reference is in The Witcher 3. During one of the DLC quests, you could go to a prison full of sky cells. At the very end, one of them will have a key inside, and this will open a cell with a corpse on the ground. Taking a closer look at him, you'll see a striking resemblance to Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. In the show, he was thrown in a cell exactly like this, but sadly in the Witcher universe, he never made it out.
Shame he didn't know how to fly.
It
Oh,
was easy to miss, just
Okay.
like the secret celebrity walking around Breath of the Wild. On your travels, there's a chance someone called Dato will appear. He's minding his own business, but if you talk to him, you'll instantly get the feeling like you know this guy. Well, don't worry, he is familiar for a reason. This is actually a tribute to Robin Williams. He was such a
Wow.
big fan of Zelda, he named his daughter after her, and this was Nintendo's way of saying thank you and goodbye. When it comes to Star
That's
Wars,
really
one of the
cool.
coolest things about Battlefront 2 is the Easter eggs. No one really talks about them, but they're incredible, like in Maz's castle. This map is based on The Force Awakens, and it's where Rey finds Luke's old lightsaber, but plenty of fans were disappointed when they couldn't go there themselves. Felt like a wasted opportunity. In reality, it was just the start of an Easter egg hunt. As people found more objects and clues around the map, the pieces all came together, and eventually, the door unlocked. Obviously, you don't get a lightsaber, but you do get an exclusive hooded outfit for Rey. Another item you could get is
Ooh,
Metal
I
Gear
need to
Solid
try
5's
that.
water gun. After mission 18, you can develop this thing and you'd expect it to be absolutely useless, right? Well, it is insanely useful. You can damage damage enemy radios, destroy their power supply, and put out fires at night. We're not gonna lie, we don't have enough water guns in games anymore. I guess Fortnite Creative does have the Prime Water Gun, which looks sick, so hopefully we'll see more fun stuff like this in other games. If only we could use it to defend ourselves against the Empire. In Jedi Fallen Order, you have a lot of flashbacks, and they take place right before the Jedi get wiped out. Well, in one of these levels, there's a door that claims it's locked. You can keep trying over and over, but you'll get the exact same result. Well, that's until you pressed it 66 times.
Execute Order 66.
Some of the best Easter eggs are ones you would never find. In a GTA 5, this happens all the time. When you're hanging out with the other characters, you'll create this unbreakable bond, but for those who get weird and call Michael like a second after hanging out, he'll say this.
Are you serious? We just hung out. You gotta get a life.
I have no idea how people found this one, but at Gears of War 3, you can go up to these pipes and press X. It doesn't tell you to do this, but once you've done it to all 4, a chicken appears. Nothing crazy until you get hungry and decide to shoot this little guy.
Are you kidding
This
me?
was also in another video. I don't know if I reacted to it.
Mutate on that, you
If there's one developer that is seriously in tune with their community, it's Insomniac. So when Spider-Man PS4 was announced, a creator named Greg Miller was ecstatic. He had his own character named Shirtless Spider-Man who delivered fake press conferences, and usually they were full of him praising the game. He prayed for Insomniac to add him in as an Easter egg, and that's when players found this.
Hey, find him before Lee does.
Spider Bros. Check out my moves.
No, wait. There's also 2 of them on a rooftop in the game. I don't know what rooftop it is. I always lose it, but you can actually go on a rooftop, and there are 2 of them.
If you managed to cop Modern Warfare 2's Anime 2.0 bundle, you're in luck. It was full of anime girls and colorful designs, but the devs added a secret that was impossible to find. Well, it wasn't until data miners looked at the bullet casing they realized it said, okay, well, you can read what it says. One of my favorite things to do in Red Dead is antagonize people. You always have the option to be nice or horrible, but you don't realize how much effort actually went into this feature. They specifically recorded dialogue for when you're super nice to someone only to backhand them at the last second. So if you greet them twice and then antagonize, Arthur's insults are hilarious.
Must be fun, being the town idiot. I like you, mister. You have a kind face. The kind I like to punch.
Now, anyone who's a fan of SpongeBob will remember one of its most iconic episodes, and there's an amazing reference to it in Battle for Bikini Bottom. When SpongeBob goes outside of town and heads to Rock Bottom, he's desperate to get home, but every time he looks away, the bus arrives only for it to drive off when he turns back. We'll go to Rock Bottom in game, and not only is it pretty empty, but the second you use the vending machine... Later this year, XDefiant fully releases, but somehow people are already noticing insane Easter eggs. The premise of the game is that it's a combination of Ubisoft's worlds in one FPS, so of course there's gonna be a lot of secrets. All around the maps you'll find references to things like Bank from Rainbow Six Siege, a Just Dance machine, and even Far Cry Blood Dragon. But one of the most nostalgic Easter eggs Call of Duty has ever done is in Black Ops 3 Zombies. As expected, it has a ridiculous amount of steps, from completing every challenge in the game to
We're only 15 minutes in.
using secret weapons on red spiders. Well, once you get the creatures to drink element 115 water and trap it in a cage, you'll unlock the ability to play as a spider. And you have to appreciate the level of detail that goes into LEGO games. They have so many characters and each one has a personality. You can tell the devs are massive Star Wars fans, because if you go idle as Anakin Skywalker, it reveals the future. Okay, look, Dying Light may be 8 years old, but the devs are still updating it, and recently they added an Easter egg that'll break your heart. Last year, fans noticed there was a new poster on the Stuffed Turtle building. When they looked closely, it showed a cat icon on the map, so naturally, they went straight there. Well, this is where they came across a ton of plants and candles, paying homage to the golden statue of a cat named Mocha. Well, as their reward for finding it, they got a secret weapon called Mocha's Right Paw. Please don't be a real cat, it's probably what you're saying, and sadly, yes, Mocha belonged to one of the devs who used this as a way of saying goodbye and immortalizing them forever. Someone else who absolutely deserves a statue is Chadwick Boseman. He was taken from us way too soon, and so Insomniac decided to pay tribute in Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's actually super hard to find, but one of the many streets in New York City has been renamed to Boseman Way. It's a really small sign, but players only found it because of what's on the street, the Wakandan Embassy. Something more lighthearted is also one of my favorite Easter eggs from back in the day. In Crysis 2, you could go off the path in one of the missions and find a switch with no interact button. Once you've hit it, go down another hallway, and you'll have to jump a barricade and call the elevator. This is when a classic secret reveals itself.
What?
Arguably, one of the best Assassin's Creed games is Black Flag, and it's
Yes. Thank you.
content, so when you're tasked with doing 100 Abstergo challenges, it's gonna take a while. Luckily, after putting in hours of effort, you're rewarded with an entirely different crew for your ship, who are all skeletons. Yeah, an
What?
incredible reference to Pirates of the Caribbean. Skeletons are unsettling, but Just Cause 4 knows exactly what you're doing, even right now. In the mountains, players found a cauldron and a pickaxe, and they could jump inside to unlock the
Oh,
Getting
yeah.
Over It Easter egg. It's a one-on-one minigame exactly like the original, and they even brought Bennett Foddy in to record voice lines where it got a little too real though.
Now, I know you're most likely watching this Easter egg online, where someone else has discovered and recorded it for you, like a baby bird being fed chewed up food. Don't worry, that's culture too.
Another character who broke the fourth wall is Delsin from the infamous Second Son. This is an insanely hard game to platinum. You gotta spend hundreds of hours to do it, and when you finally get that elusive trophy, the game pops up a congratulations message. Once you're at it, Delsin has a couple words to let you know that he's exhausted.
You know what, buddy? You and I have been through a lot. But I gotta tell you, officially, we're done.
But I gotta say, the last thing I'd expect to find in a Halo game is Rick and Morty. Well, in Halo Infinite, one of the missions has a dark corridor. If you leave the normal path and look through this grate, a Mr. Meeseeks box is trapped inside. Taking it back to SpongeBob, when the devs of this game decided to remake it, it was almost impossible to not add a meme or two. So now when you go idle as SpongeBob, there's a chance he'll do the mocking face. And my favorite one happens to Patrick because he'll be very surprised just like the show. Now there is a secret that no one really talks about, and it's probably because Dying Light just has so many of them. At one point in the game, people found a zipline that led to nowhere. So they turned back, but dedicated fans climbed the rocks. This led them to a Plants vs. Zombies minigame. You can sit back and watch, or get down there and kill them to help the plants out. Speaking of zombies, The Last of Us Part 1 is a fully fledged remake of the original, and Naughty Dog were as faithful as possible, not changing too much. Well, of course, it did have room for a subtle Easter egg. Most people will run through this building, or even past it, but if they just stood here and looked around for a second, they would have noticed it's a recreation of Dunder Mifflin from The Office. It's got Pam's desk, tons of paper boxes, and even Michael's office. It's just a shame you
That's
can't
really
go in.
funny. I actually watched The Office like 2 days ago.
Naughty Dog clearly love references, and they don't shy
Perfect
away from
timing.
their own games. Most people know about how you can play Crash Bandicoot in Uncharted, but there's another Easter egg that's way darker. In one level, you're driving a boat with Sam, and if you stop off at this island, there's a shipwreck to explore. Only problem is, hidden in the depths of the ship, you'll find a crewmate's corpse. They're missing a head and surrounded by coral, referencing clickers from The Last of Us. Not everything has to be subtle. Metal Gear Solid has a surprising cameo from everyone's favorite plumber. In the lab, you can zoom into the corner and find Mario and Yoshi. Best part is, the game rewards you for assassinating them. Now, Battlefield 2042 died within the first week, but at heart, it's still a Battlefield game, so there's plenty of Easter eggs to find. For one of the maps, you can head all the way to the roof of a skyscraper and go prone. This is where a pair of red shoes is revealed, a reference to one of DICE's other classic games, Mirror's Edge. Back in Spider-Man Miles Morales, everyone loves the Bodega Cat. You can interact with him every time you go in the store, and once you beat the game, he even gets his own suit that turns him into a companion. However, when you first meet the Bodega Cat, Miles says,
"He takes a pet like no problem. That's a great cat."
Sounds a little familiar, right?
It takes a pet like no problem.
Another great reference is in Jurassic World Evolution 2. You can design your own park, but it also means you gotta run it safely. There's always a chance a dinosaur will break out and eat one of your visitors, but if a Spinosaurus does it, you'll hear a faint cell phone ringing in its stomach. This is of course an homage to Jurassic Park 3, where a Spino eats a satellite phone. Okay, I love when things are accurate to the source material, just like in Fortnite. I mean, yeah, they add a ton of goofy crossover skins, but the Spider-Verse outfits are hiding a big secret. If you use the Acrobatics emote with any skin, it looks like this. But if you wear Spider-Gwen, it drops at 24 frames per second, just like the movie. And over in Hitman 3, there's a secret ending that no one really talks about. Your final target is on a train, and when you finally make it to him, there's the option to kill him or simply wipe his memory. Tough decision to make, but anyone who sat here pondering will be given a secret third option, which which is to inject yourself. Makes no sense why you do this, obviously you're gonna pick it. And now the game ends with you waking up in the asylum from the first Hitman game, you know, just to mess with you. But an Easter egg that ended up trolling the player is an atomic heart. People flew through this game, so it was easy to overlook some simple machines. Well, that's until you get a second glance and realize these devs were having a little too much fun. Speaking of wasting your time, Snow is a simple sports game where you can ski down mountains and explore. But if you explore too much, you'll find this drawing leading you to a nearby cave. Once you track down the location and use your drone to get inside, it's full of secret cave markings. But the greatest one is right here, lit up in the darkness, a QR code. This has been one of the biggest mysteries in the games community, and now they have finally found it. And a classic game is Duck Hunt on the NES, but for years there was a rumor that you could shoot the dog and it would actually work. People kept trying this and nothing happened. He didn't react at all to your bullets. Well, that's until they loaded up the beta version of Duck Hunt decades after release. Now that hackers could view these early builds, they tried to shoot the dog and it actually worked. Guardians of the Galaxy was one of the most underrated games of 2021, and it's full of non-combat zones where you literally can't shoot. Well, if you're a psycho who loves to pull the trigger anyway, Star-Lord pulls out a different weapon. Over in Hitman Sapienza level, you can find a boat in the distance, which most players would ignore. It's just a decoration, right? But if you look even closer with the sniper rifle, there are 4 bells. Once you shoot them in order of
Bro, I swear, he is reusing stuff. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It is an hour, so.
Pitch, you have now doomed everyone on the ship. Gears of War 2 is just as random, but you have to be playing on insane difficulty to unlock it. When you head to this room in Act 4, Chapter 5, there's a pillar in the center. It doesn't look shootable, right? Well...
Oh, I was looking for this.
If you're wondering, yep, that's a toaster, and yes, it works.
Who wants toast?
Now in Spider-Man Miles Morales, there are so many iconic Easter eggs, but no one talks about Miles' neighbors. Outside his apartment...
I've never played Miles Morales. I don't know.
Building, you can use photo mode to look at the residence list and see Freddy and Jason covered in blood, Andy and Buzz from Toy Story, and then Waldo, who is hidden underneath a different name. I just love the detail. Moving into Rise Son of Rome, you would never believe this game is from 2013. But graphics aside, it's also full of secrets.
2013.
Scorpio in Chapter 7, and then fire at these 2 pillars, all of a sudden, a huge Emperor Nero will appear out of nowhere.
Gosh, this is so exciting!
If you thought that was strange, I'm about to bring up Family Guy, so you already know it's about to get 10 times weirder. And back to the multiverse, they wanted to make a farm realistic, so they threw in a cow being milked just a little
see,
too well.
we already... Yeah, this one's also been...
Now this is a reference to the show, but let's be honest, the joke is funny even without the context. But I especially love Starfield's insane attention to detail. On Mars, you can find a live counter of how many hours have gone by without an incident.
Yep.
It's a funny decoration for anyone who isn't a psycho. Now if you hate playing by the rules, you can easily pull out your gun and cause a huge scene, only to look up, and the counter has instantly reset to 0. Back in 2020, Left 4 Dead 2 got a new update called The Last Stand, and completely remade a classic survival map from the first game. This time around though, every person who worked on the update got to add their own Easter egg. One of the best is hidden in an incredibly secret room that can only be accessed with a melee weapon. Hit the door repeatedly and it'll break open, revealing a dead developer. This guy was so overworked it became too much, and he's surrounded by the credits of everyone who helped make the update. And so yeah, I guess you could say they left this guy for dead. Alright, that was a little cringe. Let's move on to Hitman 2, which has an amazing secret. In the Ark Society mission, you can find a side character who's a famous treasure hunter. This is Blake Nathaniel, who has enough power to command the butlers around, and that is exactly what you need. Use this disguise to lead the butler into the freezer and then lock him inside. He says...
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Which is a reference to Tomb Raider 2. As Lara Croft, you can lock her butler Winston in the freezer too. Not to mention, once you've done this in Hitman, you unlock a secret escape that lets you dolphin dive just like Lara Croft.
Right.
Watch Dogs 2 has a suspicious looking car in Lakeside Park. It's locked behind a gate, but once you get in there, you'll realize this is a parody of the famous Jeep from Jurassic Park. Maybe you're thinking it's a coincidence, right? Beat the heart. Another great secret involves the wedding dress in Super Mario Odyssey. It seems like a funny outfit to wear with no real consequences, but if you go up to Luigi while wearing it, he takes it seriously. Bro, you're getting married and you didn't tell me? FNAF Security Breach recently got a huge update, the Ruin DLC. As you're exploring the abandoned plaza on your own, there's a scene where Cass...
Would a DLC really be an update, though? Like, who says a DLC is an update? I mean, a DLC is just... Like, it stands for downloadable content. It's not part of the game. It's downloadable content.
She nearly gets crushed by an elevator, and her reaction might sound familiar.
That was too close. I was almost a Cassie sandwich.
If you played Resident Evil, you'll know exactly what this is referencing.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
That's still not as funny as Crysis 2's Porta Potty. In the remaster, you can find this portable toilet, which is impressively bulletproof. It doesn't mean it's not occupied, though.
Come on, leave me alone!
So now if you're feeling extra cruel, you can even take this a step further.
Oh my god!
That's just messed.
I get this game just to try this. Wait, what game is it again?
Jill sandwich.
That's still not as funny as Crysis 2's Porta Potty.
Right.
In the remaster, you can find this portable toilet, which is impressively bulletproof. It doesn't mean it's not occupied, though.
Come on, leave me alone!
So now if you're feeling extra cruel, you can even take this a step further. That's just messed up. That's unlike Gears of War 5, which has a super relaxing Easter egg. If you wait long enough on this balcony in Act 2, you'll eventually see the world's tiniest ice skating routine.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
One of the smartest ways to stop people leaving the map is through hidden enemies. Instead of invisible walls,
Oh,
High
yeah.
on Life has
This
sandworms
game
that send you
it's not the king of Easter eggs, I'd say, but it has very funny Easter eggs. High on
back in the boundaries. Yeah, not the kind of sandworm I was expecting. I can't tell if it's crying like a baby or if they're trying to do the voice from Dune. But over in Shadow Complex, the entire game has you on a rescue mission to save your girlfriend. She gets abducted near the start, and you gotta track her down. But right after that cutscene happens, you technically don't have to save her. I mean, just turn around, right? Head back to your car, and you'll unlock a secret ending where you basically admit it's not your problem.
Plenty of fish in the sea.
One of the strangest secrets is in Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway. In Chapter 4, there's a wall covered in bottles, and once you shoot all 5, it will summon your very own army of sheep.
Wait. So, are they like? He's probably gonna answer this, but like good? Because if they're good, that'd be hilarious.
The best part is they're really dedicated to taking down enemies.
Alright, yeah.
Another explosive character is in The Suffering Ties That Bind. For a psychological horror, it's the last place you'd expect to find this Easter egg. If you head into
this is another one.
The pawn shop bloody bathroom, there's a series of objects you can interact with, kind of like a cheat code. Whether it's flicking the lights or turning on the sink, once the code is activated, nothing happens. Well, that's until later in the level when you see a cracked wall. Yeah, it's the Kool-Aid Man if he was 70 years old and an alcoholic. And yes, you do get a reward for killing him, his cocktail stick. And trust me, this thing is insane. I think everyone could get behind a SpongeBob reference every now and then.
Why is he so
One of
old?
my favorite Easter eggs is his idle animation in Truth or Square. But it's not just SpongeBob games where you'll find a secret. Head to the graveyard in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and you'll find a skeleton with a soda hat on. Of course, this is a reference to Smitty Werbeman Jensen, who was buried with a similar hat.
He was number 1.
Another underrated secret is in Black Ops 2. It has been so long since this game released that no one remembers the Simpsons Easter egg on Meltdown. Of course, this map
I
is
think this might be like a compilation. And since this is so long, I think we might stop at 30 minutes.
a power plant, and when you head to the control room, you'll find Homer's famous box of pink donuts on the panel. Now we have LEGO Marvel's Avengers, a game that went totally under the radar along with its details. If you pick the Hulk, you'll transform like this, which is to be expected unless you pick the 1977 version. Now his transformation is a layer of spray paint as a reference to the film's low budget. And to make it even better, he then gets hosed down by Stan Lee. And did you know that you could beat We Happy Few in literally...
I really want to get this game. I completely forgot about it. Like, a year ago, I watched a playthrough of it, and I'm like, oh, this looks really good. I want to get this game. And now that I actually have a PC, I completely forgot about it. Now that I can actually get this game, I really want to get this game.
2 minutes? This game's story is all about not taking your pills, but you could just ignore that and swallow them down at the very beginning and boom, roll credits. If you choose to actually play the games you bought though, then check out Sin Episodes. Head down to the security room and use the desk to climb over the fence.
Quick break. I want to see how much it costs on Steam. Hold up real quick. Hold on. I'm not turning my mic off because I'm right here. Let me open Steam real quick. Library. No, it's my library. Wait, hold up. What? No. Get out of store. No, what? No. Okay, there we go. Okay. Are you kidding? It's $60? Look! It's $60. It is actually $60. Oh my gosh. That is insane.
Fence. Most people would have no idea you could do this, but there's no invisible wall, you can just walk right over. We'll turn the corner and you're rewarded with bobbleheads. It is the whole main cast vibing while staring right at ya. And this really reminds me of one of the best secrets in Team Fortress 2. On the Rotunda map, you can find an exit door that's sealed shut. Well, that's unless you enable no-clip and head straight through. Who would have thought a blue heavy and red engineer would get along so well? Another secret that was found outside the map is in the Talos Principles DLC. Use this box, which looks suspiciously like a companion cube, and you can jump into a secret area. Up these stairs, you can now peek over the wall to find a turret from Portal.
Where am I? I must be in the wrong game.
One of my favorite secrets is in Hitman Blood Money. During the wedding mission, you can find this tiny gold coin on the ground. Shoot it, and tons of shirtless dudes will start surrounding you. And hey, thanks for getting this far into the video. I think we all need a breather, so let me pass it over to my co-host, Sammy.
If you thought Chris Pratt was an interesting choice for Mario, there's this secret.
They sound literally identical.
Voice.
Oh, Sam, thanks for getting this far into the video. I think we all need a breather, so let me pass it over to my co-host, Sammy.
If you thought Chris Pratt was an interesting choice for Mario, there's this secret voice actor who made it 10 times worse. The placeholder lines for Super Mario 64 were accidentally left in, and anyone who dug them up found a hilarious surprise. Still not as shocking as this secret item in Cyberpunk that has an insane twist. As you rob Yorinobu's pet house, a tiny egg can be found underneath this log. Now the game just calls this junk, and it's clearly not that important, but that's exactly what the devs want you to think. If you take this back to your apartment, it can be placed down as a decoration where you'd never really think about it again. But check back here a few months later, and a fully grown iguana will now be living in your apartment.
Who would have thought?
While Call of Duty usually keeps its best secrets inside of zombies, multiplayer has this one Easter egg that's pretty mind-blowing. Now, MW 2019 has this innocent-looking train station map, but for some reason, players started shooting these random rocks which showed some numbers. After destroying all 6 of these, a keypad is then revealed, and I don't think anyone was expecting to summon this.
What?
And if there's one game out there that lets you do anything, it's Just Cause 4. But even this sandbox has its limits. Now, you're not supposed to breathe underwater for long, but a YouTuber named Rico Star found a way to do it with some impressive movement techniques. After swimming until there was just a few seconds of air left, he found a secret message at the bottom of the sea saying, "You don't belong here."
So you think you know Wix, but do you really? First up, we've got...
And then a second later, he drowned. And I can't tell you how fun it is when a game actually lets us play instruments like the realistic guitar in The Last of Us or even the ocarina in Zelda. But this guitar in Serious Sam lets you do a whole lot more than just play. If you keep strumming it over and over, eventually it'll come to life.
Oh.
And while we're on the topic of iconic missions, you probably remember CJ and Big Smoke chasing the train in San Andreas. Now, it was a pretty hard mission, but each time you failed, it gave you this reminder.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
This was engraved in our minds for so long, that Cyberpunk just had to reference it. Over on the train tracks, you'll find two dead guys called JC and Little Smoke, and their combo of course ends with, all you had to do was follow the damn train, JC. And that's not even the only time someone paid homage to San Andreas. Now, everyone knows about the bridge that says, there's no Easter eggs up here, go away, which is already pretty unsatisfying. And Destroy All Humans must have also not been a fan because they decided to get a little justice on Rockstar. They built an exact recreation of the scene and added a basket of Easter eggs as revenge. And there's some unexpected secrets that can totally catch you off guard, like in Viscera Cleanup where your only job is to clean. One day a player randomly hit this rock, which got smaller, so they kept hitting it until a hidden cave was revealed. Inside of it, you'll find the world of Minecraft with the iconic pickaxe on display. Now, Dying Light has a secret that's a little more interactive, but it also
100. After this, we are taking a break or watching a completely different video because I cannot do the hour.
Thousands of its players. At one point in the game, you can find this crater, which spawns hundreds of DVDs. But this isn't even the weirdest part because a mysterious blueprint has a chance of appearing with it. Once built, you'll see that it's literally just a chicken on a stick, and you might be thinking this is a troll from the devs, but the weapon's actually insane.
Hit this man in his face.
Alright. It's been 100 video game Easter. Gosh. Oh, that was... Okay. Okay. I'm going to take a quick break. Oh my gosh, that was hard to sit through. Not that it was a bad video. It was actually a very, very interesting video. So, I'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye. Alright, I'm back. Big news. So, I'm not actually changing the screen because this is big, huge news that I do not actually need a screen for. So, I've always wanted to play a horror game. But the scariest thing I've ever done is like, I forgot what the game was called. It was something. Doesn't matter. Hopefully you can remind me, but it was a game about like stuff. It's like it's like the game that like you're like in like a dream and you have to like get through like these puzzles and stuff, and it's like messing with your brain. I'll make a post about it or something. Anyways, that's the scariest thing I've ever played, along with Alien Isolation, but I'm too much of a baby for Alien Isolation. So I decided, I want to play a horror game, but I don't know a horror game. What horror game am I gonna do, right? Huh? Well, I found a good horror game, Fears to Fathom, right? Cool. Kind of know how to do it, so, I mean, I can't get that scared if I kind of know what's coming, right? But I haven't really watched it in, like, when was the last time I watched it? I don't know. So I'm like, okay, maybe that would be, like, a good idea to play it since I don't really know what happened anymore. Big news! Apparently it's free on Steam now. Like, when did that happen? Like, it used to be $3, now it's free. Like, not that big of a jump, but, like, I'm broke. I could not afford it, so I could not afford to buy the entire series. I'm actually checking right now if the entire series is free or if it's just Fears Fathom 1. Yeah, no, it's just Home Alone. But this is big. Alright? Like, the next ones are $5, $5, $10, $10. They're not very expensive. Alright? So, what I was thinking. This stream, I've been reacting, right? This stream's been going really well. Well, what if I do 2 live streams? 2 in one day. What if I did that, huh? How would that go? What if I reacted, and then, since I literally just now downloaded the game, played it on stream? I'm thinking. My cogs are turning for once. For once, I'm using my brain. For once. So, I'm going to end this stream. With this view. And I'm going to start another stream today. Where I will play Fears to Fathom, Episode 1, Home Alone. And then maybe I'll stream Episode 2. Except that's $5. That is expensive for me. So, please join me when I play Home Alone. I'm hyped. I don't have to edit it. This is why I love live streams. You don't have to edit it. I hate editing. Like, it's fun, but it is very tiring. Like, that one BeamNG video where I actually had, like, music in the background, that was the most I've ever edited, and that doesn't really count because that was CapCut. CapCut's easy. Now I use DaVinci Resolve like a big boy. But anyways, I'm very hyped because very soon I will start a second stream today. Second. Might seem like a lot, but I need to cram all this in because tomorrow I'm leaving on a vacation. Need to cram it all in. Need to play this 12-minute game because apparently it's 12 minutes. I guess I'll see you then. This has been a 56-minute stream. That is still pretty long for me. And I'm going to deeply annoy you by playing a 12-minute game in like 30 minutes.